battle was over. Though the town had been viciously sacked by the goblins, and there was nothing the party could do about the miserable state in which they found the settlement, the area was at least liberated from the hands of the Greenskins. The tribe had been slaughtered completely. The chief was decapitated, his head to be brought back to Grünschafen as proof of the party's deeds and their victory over the goblins. And so, the party's main quest in the region was complete. They had triumphed. Yet, there was still more to do in the region, still loose ends to tie up. One thing, certainly, came foremost in Adrian's mind as a matter of grave concern. There was still the matter of Miss Romilda Wiseman, or as Adrian called her, Rouge, or as everyone now knew her, the Werewolf. During the course of the heated battle with the Goblin tribe, Romilda had transformed, unleashing her true power and cutting a bloody path through the goblins with the power of the wolf. Though Adrian was initially unsettled by the transformation, the party accepted her rather quickly, and so the issue was dropped. The werewolf was here to stay and accepted by her comrades. Then there was the matter of the town's smith, who had been displaced by the goblin raid and made a refugee at Grünschafen. He had requested the party retrieve his equipment and return it to him there. Luckily for our heroes, it was not a terribly difficult task. Rem, using her magic, was able to repair a cart, and thus the party fairly easily was able to load and transport the blacksmith's tools and belongings. They then set off southeast, to the northern edge of the forest. There, that very same blacksmith said they would find a meteorite he believed fell in the area. Sure enough, they found it. It was made of a sort of metal, iron or steel-like, and they loaded it into the cart. They then set off back to Grünschafen. When the party returned to Grünschafen, the first place they went to was the tavern to turn in their quest. When they arrived, the first thing they saw was a meeting in the characteristic back right corner, as was their custom. Seated at that back right table was their employer, who around him sat a smattering of important noblemen from around the country. First among the nobles in attendance was Marquis Aldhelm of Eisenfurt, popularly known as the Wolf Lord. He was actually a familiar face to the party, as they had met him before in the forests to the east of Volkkirchen. There, he had helped them neutralize a goblin tribe. Also in attendance was the mysterious Lady Ava, who had formerly been the king's Inquisitor General before she had been dismissed without cause. The party had seen her only once before, and very briefly at that. The hooded man, as usual, filled the party in. Apparently, His Majesty, King Uric, had called up a levy upon his vassals, instructing them to gather their men-at-arms and meet at the royal capital of Damren. As for what manner of campaign or operation the Mad King Uric had planned, no one at the table quite knew for certain. After informing the party of the latest news and paying them for their job well done, the hooded man went on to give them their next assignment. They had found the gathering spot of the goblins, and with that, the likely location of the Goblin King. They had gathered here, in an abandoned mine shaft in the Sapphire Mountains to the east. What they had not been told was that outside the mine shaft, the goblins had constructed a heavily fortified encampment. Luckily, for the sake of their own lives, the party was able to put everything together, mostly by remembering what the Marquis Aldhelm had told them in the woods about the fortified position to the east of the forest. By the time the meeting came to a close, the party had a new understanding of their charge. If they were to take this encampment and kill the Goblin King, they were going to have to take drastic measures. Simply a party of 6 men would not do. They would need more, much more. Not just another party. They would need an army. But where to get one, that was the question. As in this, as in so many other historical questions, the solution to their problem lie in the people. They resolved to rally a popular army, a militia composed of peasants, artisans, burghers, former soldiers, town guards, anyone who would take up the good cause and defend the land. They called this people's militia the Company of the Saar, named for the nearby Saar River, and within a few days it would have within its ranks over 50 men. Lastly, the party and the editor would like to thank Hans Schmidt for the dedication he showed in his role in building the militia. Many of the early recruits were gathered by him. Thanks, Hans. So now that we're back in town, I would like to gather all of the officers.
We haven't decided.
Oh yeah,
the officers yet.
That's what we're gonna figure out. We're gonna figure out organization, and we're gonna split up. That's why I'm trying to gather all of the heroes. Yeah, I would like to gather all the heroes.
All right. Mrs. GM, can you please bring us to town map?
Can you give us a meeting place?
Sorry,
Maybe the
can
tavern?
we have about 15 NPCs that also think they're heroes just showing up?
They're the heroes. They're the people's heroes. We're the socialist army. We're doing
The workers'
heroism.
revolution has arrived.
All right, gentlemen, I would like to call this meeting to order. First of all, I would like to congratulate our most industrious friend, Hans Schmidt.
He just nods.
I want to ask you, how did you gather so many people so quickly as you did?
With
Bribery.
a fiery speech from our big brother race, the Giants, for the sons of Riveria, and for the sanctity of this fertile land.
You know, I have known you for a year, friend. I did not know you had such a beautiful way with words.
Well, if we didn't frequent the taverns, you might have heard.
All right. Now that we're all here, I would like to say that though we have done much work, I believe our work has only just begun, as it were. We have gathered this force of over 50 men, but now we have to turn it into an actual force capable of fighting. Right now, it's just something of a mob. Who here thinks they would be good at training?
Edward kind of raises his hand and goes, I can teach him how to do archery. I can try, say at least. No promises.
I'll try to teach them my tricks, of course.
Both of you would be willing to do that? It's a very important task.
Hey, I said I
I
tried. No promises.
I trust no other.
All right. Is this okay with everyone else? Adrian just kind of looks across the way at the blank-faced NPCs. And he's like,
Yeah.
all right. We should probably figure out a matter of organization, you know, a chain of command and all. We have 50 men and growing. That's about one company, which means amongst us we must elect a captain.
I nominate the our character-wise as a joke. I nominate the bar lady, the waiter. I think she'd be a really good, leader. she walks and just slams up his hands. About fucking time I'm working. This is my hard work around here.
We must elect a captain.
Yeah.
Edward pipes up and goes, what about yourself? You've already kind of taken the role as party leader. I thought we already unofficially approved of that.
I didn't want to make such presumptions, but I would.
I
Look
thought you were presumption.
all in favor of me as captain, say aye. And
Aye.
Wolfman kind of tepidly
Yeah, we
raises his
NPCs
hand
look
to
at each
get a
other.
gauge of this.
and then like they slowly, one by one, raise their hands.
Unanimous decision. All right.
You're missing two
I-
party members, yeah.
Unanimous enough.
I mean, you're assuming I voted yes.
Hey, where's John's character? I don't see John's.
I've
there, out
abstained.
there.
We can't have a unanimous decision here. You gotta have some
They
contest.
stayed out. They
Come on.
stayed outside. They wanted to.
Right.
They didn't.
They want to be edgy.
Yeah, they're not participating in our cool army
Well,
meetings.
you're here, edgy enough.
And she's just here to be well informed.
Mm. All right.
All right.
All right. Next.
Well, I shall exercise this authority which you have trusted me with to the best of my abilities. We must also select amongst our rank a group of lieutenants who believe themselves capable of commanding large formations of troops. I would like to nominate for the position of lieutenant the good madam across the table from me. And he, sort of gestures towards Mia.
She kind of, like, is taken aback by her, and she's like, really? Well, of course I'll do my best to help train these men and lead them.
Mia's now main character.
Yeah.
Well, she's also the leader of a party. It'd be kind of like, you gotta offer them something.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
She's bringing all these people along with her. She needs to have some kind of important role in it, or it'd feel kind of off.
Besides, she's the noble of my home
Yeah.
country.
I would also like to nominate as a lieutenant. He looks around, kind of thinking of. He looks everyone over, kind of thinking them over. Like maybe you and no. And then he says, "You know what, shot in the dark? Hey, Blondie!" He kind of turns himself backwards.
I'm gonna shrug.
You know anything about army formations?
I'm gonna just nod.
Is it like an affirmative nod?
Like a so-so nod.
Nonchalant.
Like she'll know how to wing it if you ask.
Yeah, I mean, you are in fact, as far as you're aware, my character has shown you proficiency in wielding about 15 different weapons, but you're not sure how many I actually know how to use.
Not just
You
that.
see, that's the
just
thing.
because you can use a weapon doesn't mean you're necessarily good at commanding.
I know, but like that's the amount of interaction you've had with my character.
Look, Blunt. Can I get a yes? Get a no? Whatever. Monsieur Le Fox, how about you? Would you like to be a lieutenant?
If you have me.
Right.
All right. Congratulations on your new promotion.
God.
Hold on, was that their peanut gallery? You want to speak up?
Who's
I'll
that,
say
Mrs.
again.
Not at the meeting?
Who says I'm not?
You maybe could have been a lieutenant too if you bothered to show up.
I'm not. Okay, first of all, I don't want to be a lieutenant too. Who says I'm not there?
The map says you're not there. Does anyone here know anything about organizing supply lines, logistics? Anyone? It's not my
Yeah,
specialty. I want to be frank. It's not my specialty.
Yeah.
I mean, preferably you want them in the rear.
Well, we
I
need
know
to have.
that.
Look, if you're going to have a militia, you need food, you need supplies, you need to make sure they're not, You don't want them raiding their own land.
From what I gather, you want to have more supply than you expected. At least have over just in case you're under by the numbers or something happens. Always order extra.
You know what? I'm gonna take another
Yeah.
stab in the dark. Rouge. Do you know anything about supply lines?
Short answer is no.
Would you
Long
like to
answer is
take
yes.
a shot at it?
Short answer is no.
Okay.
Just what do you want to do, George? That's more
How about
important.
this? I'll speak up and I'll say all we need is a wagon with food on it.
Yeah, like we
that's
don't need
your
a
s-
whole.
It's merely, you know, a few days.
We're not talking about a
Realistically
campaign into
here.
fucking Russia here.
Adrian turns
You
around.
got this.
Adrian turns around and he says, "Well, I believe we found our new logistics captain.
You've been demoted.
You
No, and my explicit response is bite me.
Good enough. You've already shown more initiative than anyone else in this room.
No. Jess, we're like, where's the food? That was you're
Yeah,
the
I
logistics
mean-
captain. Like, I
This
said
is,
no.
you know what?
Because
Much
my
like
My
secret-
response
much
is
much like
flat
an actual
declining.
much like an actual army, it's full of people trying to avoid doing any work by
Exactly.
not speaking up or showing any talent whatsoever.
I mean, you act like everyone's got to have a talent that fits into that particular.
Well,
Yes,
niche.
that's
or-
exactly how
or
this
they can
works.
at
Have you
least
never
take,
seen the
like,
anime?
Yeah, they can at least like take a shot at it. Like, goddamn. Rem, would you like to take a shot at organizing supplies? Look, you have to
I'm
learn
pretty
how
sure
to.
my character is financing supplies. I'm not organizing that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, apparently Rem's just gonna stare into space.
Is John even there?
He
No.
should be.
No,
John's not here, apparently.
John's AFK.
Rem
All of a
has
sudden,
seen-
Charles raises his hand and goes, "I'm gonna supplies. Notice me."
I don't think everyone understands. Rem is looking at the nearby supply of paint, and
He sniffed too much. Hey, what about Charles? What can Charles do?
I mean, that's another thing. Like, you can always like
Oh,
see if one of your
Monsieur-
retinue is
oh,
capable of doing it.
good idea, Edward. Charlie, would you like to try something new for once?
No, do you look like I'm stupid?
I don't know. I think he tried pegging the other night at the brothel, but that's just...
Charlie?
What is it gonna be my turn?
DM, you there?
What? Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Charlie, would you like to take a crack at something new?
Who were you talking to?
Charlie.
His
Charlie in the
character was
Chocolate
Charles
Factory.
the
Oh, wait, his
Yeah.
bard.
No, he's going.
Yeah.
He's trying to speak to my Charlie from 2 universes ago.
Yeah.
He's like, Charlie!
Just steps through a portal like in fucking
Yeah.
I
Endgame.
forgot what the bard's
that,
name
he's that
was.
desperate.
His name is
for-
Charles.
I'll always
Charlie.
remember Pippin, but Charles will slip from my mind.
Charlie loses-
Charlie could barely
Fine.
stand Henry. Do you think she could stand him? At least with the Henry bit, it was actually kind of like a love-hate relationship. This is more of a he's
hate
sold himself.
relationship.
Yeah, he's
Listen,
just like he's
listen, I
sold
would
himself.
volunteer, but currently me and Cherkov are training, so I have my priorities are currently,
Yeah.
I suppose I
Turco, I
can
found a quote,
handle
by the way.
supply board.
Nice.
Hey, Cherkov, watch this real quick. This is gonna be you and me training.
Alright, well, if you're going to do it,
Hmm.
ask if you have any questions about how it works. Ask Blondie over here. She seems to have a decent idea of how it works.
How
You
what
know,
works?
cart full of food and all.
Right, sir.
Edward pipes up. Just make sure everyone has enough food, and they should be happy.
You know what's
And
Food
funny?
is cool, that's all they want.
Food.
The game makes it
Not-
easy to
not
go
just
in and
food.
buy
No,
rations.
not just food, but weapons. They need spears. They need
I-
shields. They need
Edward just say,
bows,
I just
cross-
said that. Do you not hear me?
That might be too expensive.
That was vague.
Well, what? We're not just going to send them into combat with their bare hands. Like, I don't know, maybe they bring some pitchforks that might do some good.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
pitch, that sounds a great idea.
wouldn't
Edward rolls his
spear- I
eyes.
don't know. I mean, you could do like
Is there a
wooden
tongue
spears,
written?
Look, point is we're going to have to arm them with something.
bows,
Yeah.
are probably the best
Don't
bet.
we have a blacksmith in town or
We
something?
do have a smith, and he did say
Ooh.
he would fashion us some spears for the militia. Now he said if we
while
wanted
you're
to
at
find,
it,
he
while
said
you're
that-
at it,
he
find me
said
some bows and arrows.
that would be
It is taken
that
care of,
would
don't
be
worry.
that would be a job for the supply chief. So please redirect all questions to Charlie.
Alright.
Well, the real question would be this: is because they're militia, what are the proficiencies of militia? Are they going to be proficient enough with a spear to be able to use it effectively in combat?
It's a spear.
Yeah,
It's the most
after
basic
Spears are
weapon.
easy.
It's the most basic weapon
And
known
I
to
Well,
man.
is that a
They are
martial or is that
considered
simple?
weapons.
They are simple. Okay, they are
Okay.
simple. Okay.
The spear is the
Sim.
most basic weapon known to man. They could, if they cannot use a spear, they cannot use anything.
A
Yeah.
club. That's the most basic thing. It's like Neanderthal 20,000 years ago.
People have been
Ooh,
using
good
spears
stick.
since forever.
Whack.
Oh, it's a pointy stick. Me stab. Now,
Oh yeah, Maverick, when we do get into combat, you'll have to help refresh me on my Warhammer 8th edition rules.
You
That's
can't
how I'm
pay me
gonna
that.
run the battle. You're all going to suffer.
Hmm.
now,
Age of Sigmar rules. it's
well, we
supposed
have
to.
Oh.
well, we have a decent enough force. I'm going to, I believe that it is another.
Who's in charge of the cavalry, though?
We don't have any cavalry.
Damn.
All we
Donkey.
have is 58 men.
Well, while you're at it, get
we
yourself a
have-
horse. Every
we
good
have-
every good commander needs a horse.
Look, if I
Shut the fuck up.
I wish I had a horse. I asked for a horse.
Would you trade your
Currently,
kingdom for a horse?
I don't have a kingdom. I believe it is in the best interest of the company for me to travel north to Eisenfurt to see if I can find more men and some specialty equipment. Maybe a small contingent of cavalry, some engineers to build onagers, anything that could give us an edge over the greenskins.
Yeah.
Now, as to travel the roads alone is a unwise decision, to say the least. I would like to ask at least one of you to accompany me to Eisenfurt.
I will say the number of troops you recruited last game has basically depleted this amount of anyone you can hire.
What?
Yeah, you kind of cut out a little bit there to where it was kind of
Yeah,
hard to tell what you were
we
saying.
hear you.
Yeah.
Like,
If
we're
y'all
thinking-
were going to try any more recruiting campaigns in the immediate area, unfortunately you cannot do
That's
that.
why we're going to Eisenfurt.
Yep.
We need to.
You want to send it down the road to the other town as well?
Maybe?
Would anyone volunteer for such a journey?
I mean, I was thinking of training some men, but...
Well, no, you need to stay here and train the men. That's what I mean.
Okay,
You and
here's the
that-
question: Who doesn't have a job so far? And that's basically who would go. So
You,
That'd
Ram, and Tab, it
be-
seems.
And
Basically.
the Octavian, two other NPC players.
Well, no, Charles is in charge of logistics.
you're talking about the other part of the party of
Uh,
Yeah,
me, is what
the
you're
other
talking
people.
Because of course an NPC would be in charge.
Rouge and
Oh yeah,
Rem,
you
would you
could
two-
send the other party there actually.
about. I mean, to be honest, you're probably asking John when he's not there.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I
fair.
couldn't hear your question.
I didn't ask you.
Okay.
Anyway, I had already asked if someone wanted to go north with me, and I haven't gotten an answer yet.
I'm just trying to figure out like who out of the bunch doesn't have a job and then go from there. So it's me, Tav, technically in this case.
I
and
mean,
John, who's not even here.
I'm
right now.
counting Tav as the unofficial secondary supply chief.
a job he won't do. So
She won't do any job I tell her to do.
Good thing he's coming with you north because the big town will have more supplies.
Oh yeah, Blondie.
Your immediate response is just a shrug and a sigh.
I think that's a yes.
Wink.
Sounds like we to
now
me.
you just hear grunts.
Hans
Yeah,
just
talking to
visibly
you is
cringed
like talking to a Donkey Kong
over
character.
the edge.
At least I have
Don't-
actual dialogue.
Don't
when
you
I do it.
dare! Don't you dare make me bring out the DK rap.
So Blondie and I will go north. That means we need 2 people to go south. Any
South for what?
volunteers
What haven't you go south for again?
to get more men?
Oh, talking about the least
The,
charismatic person in the party trying to do that.
Other party starts raising their hands. Me is like, I know you kind of declared me a sergeant, so would the sergeant go and get more men in this case?
You're a lieutenant, not a sergeant.
Lieutenant, yes, sorry.
Though, thank you for reminding me. As for the rest of you, congratulations on all of your promotions to the rank of sergeant.
So
Give
wait,
me
you have 2 lieutenants, right? You have Mia and
Edward.
I thought you
Yeah.
had 3 with Blondie.
No, I asked Blondie if she wanted to be a lieutenant, and she just shrugged.
Oh, I'm really glad I'm your backup plan.
I figured Cherkov would be a lieutenant, seeing as how he
He's-
got most of the men here.
The thing is, I talked to Cherkov about this out of session, and he said, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Cherkov, you said that Hans would just be better as a sergeant.
Well, yeah, but if he were needed to be a lieutenant,
Yeah.
he would be up for it.
Yeah,
but
he'd do it.
Wait,
in
now
why
like-
am
he's
I a
town
lieutenant?
guard.
Anyways, that's
Yeah.
why am I a
So he's a
lieutenant?
sergeant.
Why is Edward a lieutenant?
You have decent people skills. You are able to you are able. This is something I never expected to say this about a Steve played character, but you actually have better people skills than about half the people in this party.
To
Oh,
be
thank
fair,
you.
this is the first time I did a character that has this bad.
Yeah.
But it was kind of unnecessary evil.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So just by sheer virtue of that, you've shown the ability to speak 2 sentences back to back. You have proven worthy.
Then all of a sudden Adrian looks at Ramenda and just goes, "You are Sergeant Major. Please don't murder me now."
No, if anything, Hans is
Thanks.
Sergeant Major.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Do you really
Alright,
think
so
she gives a fuck about? Oh god.
She
Anyways.
doesn't care about like about decor and like having all these fancy ribbons and ranks. I mean, that's nerd shit for guys like Adrian.
So anyway, so what? So Hans now is Sergeant Major.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Well, why don't you tell him that?
either Sergeant Major or Master Sergeant, whichever we think would be better.
All right, then why don't you tell him that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, congratulations on all your promotions. Give yourself a round of applause. As for you, Hans, you will be like a... Damn, I don't know the word for this. Does anyone know the word for like sergeant? I apologize for my...
Major, Sergeant Major.
Sergeant Major?
Yes, oui. Sergeant Major.
Hmm. My father would be proud.
Sergeant Major Schmidt.
Edward
He
kind
just-
of pats
he
Hans
just-
on the back and there.
just-
Congratulations.
I'm
bud.
getting some Hogan Heroes vibes.
That's the point. Anyways,
Hans
Uh,
just smiles as if his childhood dream was coming true since he joined the town.
It's kind of like when Spider-Man was told he was an Avenger in Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If only my drill instructor could see me now.
And Lieutenant, hold on. Your name is, let's see if I remember this correctly. Real quick, out of character. Did Mia ever say what her last name was? Would Adrian know that? They've fully greeted each other, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, Lieutenant, Roman, you said you'd go south, we?
We.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Octavia, you shall be my aide-de-camp. I've got it.
All right, sir.
Macati de Lafayette.
Any orders I have that need to be written down, it will be your job to dictate. You are the.
If you want to roleplay an army, now you can.
You are the writer of the army.
All right.
You think you can do that?
Suppose that's a. Yes, I can do that, sir.
Can
Okay.
someone queue up? I'll make a man out of you
Very
real quick.
good.
We need to have this for. We need a training montage now.
All right, Blondie, with me. We've got a lot of traveling to do.
Blondie.
So, how many of you are heading north?
Just me and Tav. It's 2.
Oh,
Wow. Okay. That can't go wrong at all. I believe in you.
Hey, Baz, you should like recruit people along the way.
Now he'll be like a recruitment officer from fucking Great Britain.
King George and old England forever.
All right. So I just get in Eisenfer, right? Like I know it's like a castle. There's walls and shit. They just let me in. Cool.
yeah, ignore the stuff I'm rolling. I thought it would be hidden like DM stuff.
The first thing I want to do is find. First of all, does it look like there's any men-at-arms left, or has everyone gone?
There's some of Altom's men left, but not many. And there are some like town guard who don't serve Altom, but like serve the city.
I think our best bet would be to try and get some of the Marquis' men to come with us. What do you think, Blondie?
I think you're definitely able to attempt that, but they
I was
might be
going to
otherwise
that anyways.
disposed.
They might be, but it might as well worth a shot. Could you back me up?
That's
Look.
your response.
Look, just stand next to me. I need moral support.
I believe I know who hired you. They have another band who's operating out of this fort and just killing any goblins trying to make it south of the river.
Yes, I am aware of that, Adrian says.
Uh,
And he also says,
If you
moreover...
want,
No, go on.
I can find the agent who is currently assigned to them and see if I can have them brought back to the fort.
It would be
Where
much...
they can join you.
Adrian tells them that he'd be much obliged, and that one of the things he was looking to do was to find them anyway.
Yeah. It's like,
Um,
right.
And he thanks the gentleman, of course, and he wishes them a good day. So after leaving, he says, all right. The town guard. That's who we're looking for next. We have to find the captain of the guard and convince him that the best way to serve the city is to join the militia.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah, apparently.
we go. I look for the barracks.
Yeah. It's pretty easy, you know, there's a building kind of attached to the wall. It looks like there's a tower connected to it, so they can just leave the barracks immediately into the towers and get onto the wall.
Alright.
Uh,
Adrian comes up and he
You'll
knocks.
find the guard captain there. You find just some of the guards who are not on shift right now.
So the captain is not there.
No.
All right. Adrian walks in. He says, excuse me. Do any of you know where I might find Monsieur le Capitaine?
What do you need him for, sir?
It is an urgent matter concerning the
Actually,
goblins.
I'm gonna turn off this voice changer for these guys.
Yeah. Unless it's
Concerning
a
the
chick.
goblins,
Unless it's a chick guard. There's chick guards, maybe.
maybe some.
Not in my Christian timeline.
Yeah,
Not in.
he's like, concerning the goblins.
We.
I mean, I don't think there's much to be concerned about. I don't think they can get past these walls and kind of like
It is
uh,
not. It is not.
taps the stonework.
It is not purely a city matter, but a matter for the county, for all the lands of the Marquis. You see, south.
Why
of
don't you tell me? I'll pass them along.
No, I need to speak to him. It is urgent.
He raises his hand and he says, "You will tell me, and I will determine if it is urgent enough to tell our captain."
A goblin army is gathering to the southwest across the river.
East.
Southeast, sorry. Southeast across the river. I'd like to
Yeah.
imagine that was
We
Maverick.
know the goblins are moving south, and
East.
Yeah, I'd like to
I
imagine that was
assume
Maverick's
they'll only
character, and
continue moving
Adrian
south.
does say that. He's like, gathering the southwest, east, southeast across the river.
yeah. Well, it makes sense for them to be southeast across the river. They've all come from the east, and they're all heading south. But I don't see how that affects this fort. They crossed the river. They don't want anything to do with this fort. Doesn't
Badge,
concern
you
us.
gotta lie, Badge, you gotta lie.
Sure, they
Tell
don't.
them about the Goblin King.
Sure, they might not can now, but while they are small, but they are gathering forces. They have been rallied under a new Goblin King. He's building an army, one that will, if left unchecked and not destroyed now, will one day be large enough to threaten this fort.
Alright, and what do you intend to get out of this by telling our captain? You think he doesn't understand that already? We've seen hordes of goblins
Well, Monsieur,
head south towards the river and cross.
judging by what you've told me, no, none of you really understand the gravity of this threat.
Alright, we don't have an army. The
Not-
army that was here has left.
Since you guys why we need to kill it now.
Fortunately for
we-
you,
Barely have enough men here to man the fort. If we leave and lose, then this fort is actually in danger.
we won't.
You understand that?
You won't lose. Not with a people's army.
People's army. Alright, so let's say I go talk to my captain. Are you intending on taking the entire garrison minus the 20 men left by our generous lord?
No, what we're gonna do is actually gonna push a town towards the goblin thing like they did in SpongeBob.
Any whom you might be
Like
able
I said, we
Any
We
men you
don't
might
have-
be able to spare, I would be willing to take. Again, if not
Right.
nipped in the bud now, this will grow into a crisis that your garrison will simply not be able to handle. That no garrison will be able to handle. Either we deal with this now with a people's army, or it will take the whole royal army and years of blood to deal with it.
Alright. I'll take this to my captain.
Good man.
He sort of gets up. He's like, look, if you're really intent on getting men, don't badger them. Just go around, talk to them, and see if they'll join you. Some of them, like the Lord's men really want to go out there and fight.
I've spoken to them
But
already.
we just didn't have the numbers
They said as much.
or the permission to go.
Do you know where I might find specialists in this town? Engineers, horsemen.
What do
Bow
you need
people.
engineers for?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
What do you need engineers for, sir?
Onagers?
Onagers. Oh, come on. You think the goblins will have made a fort that requires onagers?
Well, it's a terrifying weapon, you know, getting giant rocks thrown at you.
I'll talk to my captain about all of this.
After that, he's gonna go around looking for specialists. He's gonna look for kind of like an engineer's shop. You know, the guys who work with machines. There are guys who do that, right?
Yeah. There are guys who work with wood, there are guys who work with metal.
Alright. So he wants to go to one of these fellows and try and recruit them, you know. He tells them about how they have this skill set, you know, he gives them the whole thing about the goblins. They're gathering southwest across the river. They're building a big army. He's building an army to counter it. And that you are a man with invaluable skills that others do not have. And then he asks, can you build an onager?
Yes, that's great.
Catapult.
We
I haven't had to work on one before. I suppose I could get with some colleagues and see if we could, you know, figure out how to put one together.
if you and your colleagues could join us, it would give us an invaluable edge over the greenskins. They would tremble before the might of rocks falling from the heavens.
I suppose we could assist in this endeavor.
Thank you, Monsieur. And he shakes his hand very firmly because this is a big win. He's got engineers. Says, when you and your colleagues are ready, travel south to Grunsteffen. That is where the company of the Saar is gathering.
He nods and gets back to his work because he has a lot of work.
Bet. We got engineers now, meaning we can build onagers. Onager recruitment unlocked, baby. So, the next
My
thing,
only question is do they have the resources?
we'll get some lumber, we'll get some metal. Like, we just have to, like, the people gathering resources. Like, there's two people in charge of that. Those are Tav and Charles.
I was just curious.
They're in charge of supplies.
Yeah.
Next thing Adrian is gonna do is look for you know, any prosperous gentlemen, people who look like they would own a horse. Actually, first thing Adrian's gonna do, I want to go to the market and I want to find a hattery.
A hattery?
You're gonna go and find a fucking hat. Are you kidding me?
Not just a hat.
A tricorn.
The hat.
He's trying to find a fucking tricorn
No,
hat
he's
and
not.
shit.
He's trying to get like honestly.
Bicorn.
Okay, you know
Wants to be a
the kind
Napoleon.
of he's gonna look more like, you know, that hat that Rupert, the silly floofy feathery hat that Rupert, the Prince of the Rhine wore in Cromwell.
You mean the best kind of hat possible?
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
getting that.
If I could find a picture that had a long floppy hat for her, I'd found it, but not possible.
Can I just pay 5 silver for the damn hat?
Yeah.
Because in character, he did not have a hat, and he's buying a hat. Okay. So he buys the
Basically, you
hat.
can turn fine clothing into, well, you can rip off all the metals and all the
I'm gonna add
gems and sell it.
page 3. I'm adding fancy hat to my inventory. So now that I have the hat, I'm gonna look for the prosperous gentlemen of the town to see if I can recruit them to be my light cavalry.
Yeah, there's some almost high to middle class semi-nobles. They're aristocrats. Every town has its aristocrats.
Oh, so they're like, alright,
No.
so they're like kind of the baronial class.
Yeah.
Alright, what are they doing? Where are they?
Well, there's like, I'd say 3 families of people who could afford these horses. And they're all kind of in their homes.
Alright.
So you will have to go from
Alright,
house
home to home. Alright.
convincing these people.
Adrian goes up to the first home.
Alright. You're greeted by a servant. That's why you are here.
Adrian kind of just tips his hat and he says, "Good afternoon."
How long have you been wanting to say that? How long
Milady.
have you been wanting to say that?
Tips
His
his
hat
hat.
says "Milady."
He says, "Good afternoon. Where might I find the master of this house?"
The master of this house, he is in his study. What business do you have with him?
Oh, I am going about town speaking to all the prosperous gentlemen to speak to them of a matter of grave security to the region. Matters of regional security.
Kind of nods and goes, oh, alright, I suppose I can take you over to him. And they gesture for you to follow them as they go deeper into the house.
Adrian does so.
They arrive at the door to a rather small study.
Alright.
You know, I said these were aristocrats, but not all of them have fucking massive manners and stuff, you know?
Adrian approaches the man and he says, "Lord," and he bows, he takes off the hat, bows, and then tucks the hat under his arm. Under his left arm.
He looks up from his book. He's I'd say middle-aged, starting to gray, but not, a senior or anything. He goes, "What business do you have with me?"
I come on a matter of regional security. You see, I have been empowered by forces within the realm to deal with the greenskin threat growing across the river to the southeast, pardon.
Alright.
You are a prominent man of the local area, so I have come to speak to you on this matter, of course.
And you wish for my assistance in this somehow?
Yes, I do. You understand what the goblin threat could become, no?
Before I invest in your cause, tell me, what are your resources at the current time?
We have marshaled to the
About
south in
truthfully.
Grünschafen. At the moment, over 50, but under 70 men on that range. We are recruiting more, of course, by the day. And we have in Grünschafen convinced a smith to provide us with arms. I have an agent in the market here in Eisenfurt speaking to a Fletcher to secure additional weapons for our forces. So I assure you supply will be no problem. Though, of course, any help is much appreciated.
Roughly 60 men.
At the moment, yes. One thing we do not have, however, monsieur, and what we lack, is cavalry. You see, the greenskins have a habit of using wargs as mounts in the same way that we men use horses. That gives them a certain maneuverability that at the company of the Saar lacks. You, being a local gentleman,
He just goes, I'm not a local gentleman.
have access to
Yeah.
such materials that men of my station do not.
So you wish for horses and for men who know how to ride them.
If wishes were horses.
If you could at
You're a
all,
horse now.
if you could at all supply them, yes.
Do you think we could recruit Sarah Jessica Parker?
He stops and thinks.
I can Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
My son and the sons of the other aristocrats of the city, I believe one of the house heads themselves, have practiced in horsemanship. It's something everyone of our status does at some point in their life. And I suppose I see some benefit in funding your little excursion against these greenskins.
You would do that for us, sir?
Well, at the end of the day, I presume you do not have sufficient funds for everything you wish to equip your men with.
Unfortunately, no. I mean, we do have some funds, but it is all personal. We were not given much of anything by our masters to work with. We were sort of left for our own devices to deal with this. You see, all of the government's attention is on other matters. As you must have seen, the army has left and gone south.
Yes.
That
That is the only reason I am considering funding you, mind you. If the military were still here, I would feel too safe to
If the military were here, they could do
invest
something
in
about
such a risky affair.
If the military were here, monsieur, they could do something about it themselves, but as of the moment, my company and I are the only acting military force in the region.
Alright. I'll have a word with the others of my standing. We will get you some horsemen, and I will
Jeff Stream, horses.
give you some funding.
Thank you, monsieur. Just one more thing. If you could, I'm sorry to ask even just one more thing of you, sir. You've already been incredibly helpful. But do you think you could maybe put out the word that the company of the Saar is recruiting any and all fighters? You know, your good word might do something. You know, being a man of prominence in Eisenfurt.
I suppose I could.
I tried to do some recruiting here myself.
I imagine you need every available man you
Every able-bodied man would be a welcome addition in the company of the Saar.
He closes his book, kind of gets up, and he looks to his servant. I'm not going to come up with a name for them. Let's
Jacques.
just say he says their name, and yeah, Jacques. See them out. I have some work to do. Yeah, you all leave.
Adrian walks out very satisfied with himself, and he goes back to the market to check up on
Very satisfied.
and he goes back to the market to check up on what Tav's been doing.
Meanwhile,
Just standing there.
Tab now owns everything.
Yeah, Taz has been standing there like, oh, you're done? Have you done anything?
By the way, I've purchased everything. I've spent about 14.5 gold. I got 30 quarterstaffs, 35 slings, and about 100 darts.
All right.
The
So
quarterstaffs were still the most expensive thing on that list, by the way.
all right. Bet. So Adrian comes up in the market. He's grinning. And he says,
Oh, I should just buy
Blondie!
fucking nets.
"Hey, Blondie!" And he runs over. "I have great news. I spoke to the gentlemen of Eisenfurt. They've agreed to fund the militia."
Hi, Max.
And
The funding, money. They're giving us money to actually arm this thing.
do you have an amount?
No, because they have to talk about it. But they will give us money, and also maybe their sons as cavalry. It's good news, don't you understand? Anyhow, how goes the supplies? How goes the supply shopping?
We need food. That's it.
We need food. What did you buy?
Weapons.
Lambus bread.
Weapons, alright. What kind?
I'm desperate.
The weapon kind. We've got pieces of cloth to use as slings. We've got pool darts.
Pool darts.
That's what it is. It's literally it's a fucking 5 copper sharpened piece of stick or whatever that you throw. Like, what do you want me to say? We've got some nicely fashioned quarterstaffs. They go bonk. They, you know.
I see.
They do the big bonk.
Huh.
Le bonk.
You know,
If you
I
want better than this, you're gonna want to, really hope those other people fund a lot, and they cover our food.
so I suppose next we should try and get some provisions for the men, no?
I guess. How much the fuck is
Oh
that?
shit!
A
We also need
ration?
to buy tents so they can sleep.
How many people can fit in the tank?
You can sleep without a tent.
Yeah.
I mean, the weather's right, so
We
yeah,
are
we could.
a
Federal.
we are a militia. We are an army. Armies have tents. There will
No,
be
no, no. A funded army has tents.
There will be standards
We're
in this militia.
funded.
A
We're
funded army
funded.
has tents.
Hey, quick question. How expensive are matches?
Good
He wants to
question.
make oil.
Don't know.
Oh no, I don't want to make oil. Oil flasks are 1 silver.
All right. How expensive are tents?
Bedrolls are 1 gold.
Oh,
Blankets are half a gold.
All right. Bedrolls are a gold. All right.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
gonna-
not buying bedrolls. I'm sorry, you're getting blankets.
All right.
And hay.
All right. Blanket.
Tinderbox half a gold.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say tinderbox.
All right. Once I get
Oh, a
fun-
2-person tent is 2 gold.
Once I, nah. Once
Alright.
I
That's gonna.
Yeah, we don't have that
I'm
much
gonna
gold.
see. I'm gonna see what
I
we
would
get.
have a
From,
tent.
I'm gonna see what we get from the lords, and if we get some good money, not the lords, the gentlemen. And if we get good money from the gentlemen, I'll buy some tents.
Okay.
But I would like to do.
Um,
I'd like to go up to the weapons shop real quick before we go.
Oh, I've got a tinderbox. Okay, I have flasks of oil.
And
Nice.
I know this is technically a waste of money, but you know me, a person who is obsessed with
role
as
play.
synthetics as I am.
Fashion
banner.
war.
What are the?
Oh, I'm
real
buying
quick,
a bunch more stuff you'll find out about later.
What's the price of a sword, and what's the price? No, swords are martial. Damn. All right, spear. You said spears are what?
sword?
You said just a normal sword.
Spears are like 1 gold, according to the DMG.
All right, I guess I'll buy.
Javelins are 5 silver.
I guess I'll buy 10 spears.
Alright.
Well, that's 10 gold.
Yeah, 10 gold, 10 spears.
You can buy 20 for the same price if you buy javelins.
Yep, and they're 1d6. You just can't two-hand them.
Oh, by the way,
Actually, no. Actually,
what?
no. I'll spend 12. So 12 spears.
I'm getting an extended list of things I'm going to buy that I'm not going to tell
So
everyone about.
to the
until
current-
later.
add to the current weapon pile that we bought 12 spears.
making
that I
gunpowder.
bought.
No.
Look at this thing I invented,
spears.
even though I'm not an artificer.
How many quarterstaffs and stuff did?
How many quarterstaffs did you buy?
30.
30 quarterstaffs, 12
35 slings, 100 darts.
and 12 spears that I bought.
So we have no bows.
We have slings.
We have slings.
100.
Bows are like are A, martial weapons, and B, a lot of gold each.
Honestly, the closest range weapon you can come up to that's actually like
A light crossbow is like 25 gold.
exactly.
That ain't happening.
I mean, the
Question:
short
Did
bow,
did
same
any of
price.
the peasants bring their weapons with
there
them or
was
not?
the guy in the the
I'll be right
sympathetic
back.
blacksmith said he would make us some light crossbows.
Question: Did any
Did?
of the peasants
Didn't he?
bring any weapons with them?
Make a onager.
No,
There
the
might be some
sympathetic
hunters.
blacksmith in Grünschaffen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh,
Yeah, there should be some hunters out on the farms.
Yeah,
At
that's what I'm
least
saying.
have,
Did
like,
any
a
did any
bow and
hunters
arrow,
bring the
maybe.
weapons with them?
Oh yeah, some of the
yeah,
peasants
some of
might
them
have.
probably
Some of
brought
them might
their
have
own
brought
bows.
bows.
with them.
Some of them might have
I would
brought bows.
imagine.
Yeah, we'll roll a d12 to see how many.
And
Okay.
wait, did any of them bring any
That's a lot,
particularly? Did any of them bring any particularly?
I rolled a
pointy-
12.
Hell yeah! Let's go!
DM, did
How
anyone?
many?
Did anyone?
12!
They're short bows.
Hell
Did
yeah.
anyone bring any
Who
particularly?
cares? It's better than
pointy-
nothing.
Did anyone bring any particularly pointy farm implements?
Pitchfork?
Some of them could bring hoes.
Kirkhoff, did you hear the news? We got 12
pitchforks.
Yeah, see if
bows.
they're roll for
Hell
bows and
yeah.
pitchforks.
We have archers.
No, I will die in the line.
You
So
will hold
Maverick,
that
the money
fucking
that
line.
you just spent,
Seven
I
and
will.
might
eleven.
have
I
it
will
back.
die thanks to your arrows.
I mean,
Listen,
I'm
think
gonna be
about
able
it.
to sell stuff afterwards,
We
so
have
I'll get it back
at least
eventually.
Before the end of the day, how many times can I try and harangue, get people to join the militia?
You want to go once more again, I guess. So.
So I can do it twice
And
a day.
again, if you just paraphrase your speech, you get no bonus.
All right, so I have to think about this for a second because I'm gonna come up with an actual speech because I want to get some guys.
All right.
Like the one I pulled out
Yo,
of my
wait a
ass
second.
yesterday.
After he's done, I've got something I want to do.
All right. Go ahead.
After he's done.
Go to the local
What is this
orphanage.
stuff? I'm just letting. No.
Sure.
Why am I gonna
let's
go to the orphanage when there's
Buy
like
some oil canisters.
Because you
Guys,
We
unironically
need
like the
people who
idea.
have nothing to live for.
guys,
so...
I'm not going there. I'm going to the local like
Oh,
thieves
don't
guild
you
or something.
bullshit us.
Yeah,
You look
sure. Because they
nothing.
they have they have discreet connections to the orphanages.
No. I'm going to go to like the disreputable area because they have, they're
I'm
more
gonna type
incentivized
this
by
out.
loot.
Who dipped? Oh, it was
All right.
While the peasants will fight for
Before you hit
their
enter,
land.
let me just do.
Bandits will
this.
fight
Where
for
did
loot.
Claire go?
Oh, you're doing their recruitment roles?
Yeah.
I'd never thought I'd see
All around, not
a
very
peasant
good.
from the First Kingdom outdo a noble from the First Kingdom in recruiting people to the cause.
No, but because you have better people skills because you're one of them. They relate to you in a way they don't relate to The detached, Miss Rorman.
Yeah, no shit. She's got a
You got
bard
that-
lover.
You got
She's
that
very
earthy
detached.
vibe.
I'd say they recruited like 7 people. One of whom was a guard. They did manage to get one extra guard, my friend.
Is he dying?
He is.
Okay. Guys, you have a voice
Yeah,
now. I
Anyways, I'm
vote
gonna
for
get
Max.
snacks while he continues typing.
I'm done. Whew. Oh god. I shouldn't have laughed. It made me start coughing. Whew. Oh. Damn. Oh god.
Oh, you have a 0 in your charisma. That's why.
Look at me with -1.
Oof.
Hey, it made sense to my character.
I've written a short speech to give to the people of Eisenfurt. This is gonna be my recruitment speech that I'm gonna go out depending on how long I need to be in here, every day and give.
Jesus.
Citizens of Eisenfurt, hear me! I speak to you as but a humble servant of the people and of our fatherland. Surely I need not remind you of that threat, which every day threatens to bring you all to ruin, that vile menace, which pillages our towns, molests our trade, and daily conspires against us, the Greenskins. Across the Saar, to the southeast they gather, in a grand encampment under their new king. If not checked soon, their strength will soon grow out of control and ravage this land with a might only our full royal army could challenge. Yet, history has not been yet written. This yet may be stopped. There is hope. Across the river too gathers in Grünschaffen a people's army. An army of common men looking to serve their country, protect their families and their property, and to fight against the forces of chaos which gather at our doorstep. Join me, and you will have a right to any loot attained from victory. Anything which you may carry away with your own 2 hands will be yours forever. More so, to you will go an eternal glory, as you will be the saviors of this land, those who stood against the great menace, destroyed them, and brought peace and order to a land in dire need of such. Join me, good people of Eisenfurt, and I will lead you south to join this company of the Saar. And we will have, within a month, the Goblin King's head hanging from the gates!
If he was German, this would hit different.
+3, since you're giving the same speech every time, that bonus will diminish every time.
Over time. Okay, so right now I'm going with +3. This is the maximum. Let's go! Let's go!
Oh,
Been
shit.
rallied.
Oh,
You got a good roll.
The rise of evil!
I'll be right back. All of a sudden you hear the Nazi
Just using
boots
this to
song.
determine how many dice I'm rolling, actually, so. 2 low rolls, 2 high rolls. Nice.
Little high, little low.
That is 16 townsfolk.
Let's go! 16.
Let's go.
Does anyone have anything else we need to do in the other town, or shall we move on to day 2?
So this is day 1 in Eisenfurt,
Yeah.
and it took us how long to get there?
A day.
And we spent a day in the first town at least, so we're like 4 days in so far.
Yeah.
On recruiting.
And we're gonna come back with those heroes too? Oh, that's gonna be tight as fuck! We're gonna have so many guys!
We're a company of heroes.
Oh, yeah.
So wait, is everyone in the same town now, or are we still split up?
No, we're still split
Yeah.
up. We're still split up.
Okay.
Because we have to wait a day for some of our guys, our contacts, to get back to us. We're waiting on the captain of the guard. He was gonna speak to me. We're waiting on the gentlemen of Eisenfurt to get their funds and their sons
back.
and horses.
I'm back.
And
What'd I
we're-
miss?
Boom back.
I got 16 men.
Nice.